Hello, this is the course of Information System Development, and in this video I would like to teach you about XML and JSON. Okay, first of all, I would like to say that I think I will just continue with the online course. If you have any questions related to the project or anything, just send me email, or if you want to visit my office, then yeah, please make an appointment. Okay. So let's start with the course about the XML and JSON. Maybe it is the first time for you to know about XML and JSON. Okay, so we usually call it as JSON. So let's learn about the concept. And after we know the concept, we will learn about the Django REST framework. How can we write and read using the Django REST framework? And then we are going to do the feeder and Ajax. So this is the things that you will learn. Okay, we will learn about the XML and JSON. What is XML and JSON? What is the current trend? And then how can we compare the XML and JSON? And then we will do something small with the XML and JSON with simple write and read. Okay, and Django REST framework. It will be the second. We will learn about the API. What is DRF, and then how can we apply the DRF. And the last one, I think we will deal with the simple Ajax. And yeah, I will discuss another chapter about the Ajax, but this is only just introduction about the Ajax. How can we apply the Ajax with the JSON and etc. So first, when we deal with the XML and JSON, we need to understand about the database. So database frequently fails to operate synchronously when there is a data exchange in the web. If you have your database like the SQLite, it is in your computer. But when you have the data which is on the web, you cannot use database because on the web there is no particular space for storing data. So the HTML is a way to show the documents, but not the data. There is a need to use software and hardware independent tool for storing and transporting the data in the web. Okay, so just remember that whenever you use the HTML, it is not the data. So we are going to learn some language. Okay, actually there are two languages later. A language we call it XML. So it is from extensible markup language, which is generated based on the text. We use text, and the text is from the HTML. And later on, after you know the JavaScript, so the JavaScript shows something related with the object, and we call it the JSON or JavaScript object notation. We call this is XML. Okay, so XML is a data format, and it is the way to structure the data. And you can see the specification. Okay, there are two, so you can access this one and you can access this one to see the specification. JSON is also another data format. Okay, so we call it JavaScript object notation. It's also a way to structure the data. Okay, and there's also another specification, and you can make the schema. So if you have the database, you can make the schema. JSON also the same. You can make the schema of JSON. And XML, you can also make the schema. So we will learn those things in this chapter. Before we go to the details, I would like to mention the trend of XML and JSON. At the first time, XML gives a very major format. Okay, so there are many questions in the Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow is one of the web providing the question and answers all related to the programming. So many questions related to the XML at the first time. So in now 2009, 2010, yeah, the rising issues of XML is high, but it goes down by the time. and as you can see, JSON is rising. Okay? And among those data format, we can also use like CSV, and we can also use the SOAP. So SOAP means the Service Oriented Access Protocol. So we can also use the SOAP to store the data, but it's not that popular. And yeah, if you already learned the data structure and you learn the data analysis, usually you will use the CSV file format, but it's also not that popular. Okay, then what we can do here is only related with the two files, XML and JSON. And I would like to teach you about the XML and JSON, so you have the idea how can you apply the XML, how can you apply the JSON, and how can you understand both data format. Okay. For example, you know ESPN. Okay. So this is a news channel for sport, and actually there are many other news channels, and they provide the news feed. So they call it the RSS. So it's a rich style format. And if you want to see this one, so it is the channel of ESPN. Let's say, oops, sorry. Okay. So this is the news feed. Okay. So the news feed of the ESPN. Yeah, you can see here. And this one is something related with the yep. Yeah, this one is the RSS. Okay, so in this RSS is all about the media of the ESPN, and then the title, and then the yeah, something related with the, you can see here the title of the news, and then what is the content of the news, and so on. Okay, so what we can do next with this kind of format, yeah, we can extract usually later. Okay, the other kind of data you can see from the Twitter. Okay, you know Twitter. Okay. So if you use the social media like Twitter or Facebook, yeah, actually you can access them, but yeah, it will take many times if you want to access the data. So this is using the map box, and map box is one of the tool to access the Twitter data. And let's say I want to see the Twitter users in the world, and yeah, okay, this is the Twitter user according to the mobile phone. So if you check, this is the Android, this is iPhone. So if it is green color, so it is the Android. Okay. If it is red, so this is the iPhone users. Let's see if I just close this one. Okay, BlackBerry. Oh, just a very small portion of BlackBerry, right? Other, no, it's not. I think it's not popular. Okay, no purple color. But if you, but with the Android, oh, you can see there are many green. Okay, so here, oh, okay, you can see there only some portion of the color are in the uh, light purple. Okay, so here you can see there are many Android who use the Twitter. Okay, yeah, most Japan use Twitter. Okay, anyway, using this kind of data, you can show with the visualization, and those data are in the JSON format. Okay? So what is XML and what is JSON in particular for the example? So let's see, this is one of the example that you can figure out using the database. If you are using the database like the table, you can see from this example. So this is the example. Okay, so we have title, for example, parsing techniques, and then you have the author one, the author two, and then date and publisher. Okay, and then what you want to do with the XML is to put all the details into the web. As I mentioned before, XML is a part of the HTML, and you have the tag. Okay, if you still remember, in the HTML you have like the head. Okay, so it is the closing, and then yeah, you have the head, like this one. Okay, so this tag is the opening tag and the other is the closing tag. In the XML, it is more flexible. Okay, you don't need to have a certain format. Like for example, in the HTML, you need to have the head and body, and then you need to have the title, and you need to remember what are the tags. Okay, but in the XML, you can define the tag as you want. For example, now I'm having a book. Okay, so the book will be the name of the tag, and I know that it will be related to book. And then I have the title. Okay, and then I end the data with the slash title. Okay, slash title. So this data is related to the title. Okay, so this data is related to title. How about the authors? So we have two authors, and yeah, it is a collection. Okay, so the data is a collection. So the first author is related to this one, and the second author is related to this one. And after we have two authors, we have the date. So the date is this one, and this is the publisher. Okay. The way to express the XML is in the format of text, in the format of string. And for every column here, it will be expressed with the tag author, author. But this is authors with S, so it is a multiple author, not only single author. We have date, we have publisher. Okay, so this is the way to use the XML. So whenever you have the column name in your database, it will be the tag in the XML. What about JSON then? Yeah, in JSON, the format is a little bit different, but the structure is similar with the XML. In the JSON, it used the concept of dictionary. Okay, in the Python, you know, there is a dictionary, and we use the curly bracket. So let's say this is the starting point, and this is the closing point, and I have book. Okay, so book is the data that I have, and there are at least 4 columns. The 4 columns. The first column is title, and the second is the authors, and next is date, and next is publisher. For authors, there are 2. Okay, so I put 2. This one, and the first is author 1, and the other is the author 2. So it depends on you whether you want to define the author 1, author 2, or you want to define author, or yeah, like this one in the JSON format, because it is based on the JavaScript. So you can put it as an array. So this is array index 0, and this is array index 1. Then if I put side by side XML and JSON, it will be something like this one. So book, yeah, it has the same. Title, it has the same. Date, they are the same. Publisher, they are the same. The authors, a little bit different, because the one for just JavaScript, it used the array concept, and the XML just give you another tag. Okay, so this is the list of authors in the XML. So we just make one by one for every element, and the JSON you can just apply with list like this. So let's learn how can we write the XML and JSON in Python. So I would like to make a new project for Django, and then let's create a folder testing data. So let's open the PyCharm, and then okay, I will just close this one. So I will make a new project, and then let's just make basic REST. Okay, what is REST? I will explain later. Oops, I need to choose Django. Basic REST. Okay, and then you need to create. Yeah, I will just use the basic one. And then in the example, just let's make the testing data. Okay, I will make a new Python package, testing data. Okay, it will automatically give you one file, init.py. So we will create a Python file. Okay, so there will be 4: writing XML, reading XML, writing JSON, and reading JSON. So let's see one by one. We will create the writing XML. Okay, so I will just select all, Control C, and then yeah, I think the file name will not be a matter. So just writing XML. I will make a new and make a new Python file, and this one will be writing XML. Okay, and then just paste here, and yep, you can try execute this code. So how can you execute the Py file? You can just click on this file and then run. Okay, you can see there is one option, run write XML. After you run, you will get a new file here. So there is a file named bookdata.xml. So this bookdata.xml, okay, you can see, oops, so it's something that is in one line. Okay, you cannot figure out this easily. So I teach you, when you see your file, you can click and then right click, just reformat code. Okay. So maybe if you do this one, oops, yeah, if you want to do this to make it as a code format, you can just go to the reformat code. Okay, when you remove reformat code, just click OK, and yeah, it shows the XML format. We have books, and then this is one book, and we know the title, authors. Okay, there are 2 authors, and then the date, publisher, and then there's another title, authors, and then yeah, there's another title, and yeah, and so on. Okay, and this is about the the book. Okay, what about how to read the XML in Python? Okay, so after you do the writing, okay, maybe before I continue with this, I would like to show you this writing in XML. This writing XML contains the root, and after you know the root, yeah, you can see here, I want to make the element 3. Okay, the element 3 et, yeah, I want to make it as et. So et will access the method, like say I want to make an element books, and then let's create sub element, and the sub element will be from the root, and I would like to make book. And the first data, I would like to create sub element book title, and the text will be Python. And then I have multiple authors, so I just use this sub element book and authors, and then yeah, these authors, then it contains multiple authors later. And then for the sub element book, I will have date, which is 2013, and in the sub element book I have publisher, which is Springer. Now you know that authors is one element. Okay? If I want to create multiple authors, then you can just use sub element authors, and then you can put the name, which is author, the name of the text, and then the text will be John. The second authors is Bob. Okay. The same with the data 2, we have this format, and the same with the data 3, you have the same format like the data 1. And after you finish all those things, you put the tree. Okay. So the tree will be the root. So you need to make it as a tree. And after you make it as a tree, then write the tree into the book data.xml. So this is the result. So this is the tree after you have those data. And now if you want to read the XML, yeah, reading XML.py, let's see, I have this one, and then I make a reading XML.py. Okay. If you run this code, yeah, you can access the data. Okay, you can see here, this is the XML data, all item data. So first I need to get the element of the tree. So tree equals to the et.parse. Parse means I want to read and analyze the data. And I have the file name, which is bookdata.xml. And then root equals to get the root. And for all item in the data, so it means for every element in the root, check the sub element. So the sub element will be the tag name. Okay. So if it is authors, then you need to split the two, sub element tag and sub element tags. But if it is not if it is not author, you can just put like this too. But if it is authors, then you need to have another for loop. Okay, so this is reasonable. Okay, because if it is not the authors, you will have only one. If it is author, then split into two, so another for loop necessary. So you can see this result. Now what is next is writing JSON. Okay, so I will use this one, and then writing JSON. I will make the writing JSON file. Okay, and then let's see if I run this writing JSON. You can see there's book data.json. If you open, yep, it's also one line. If you want to make it correct, then just right click and then reformat code. Okay, then the format will be something like this. It is book, and the first book is title. The title is Python, and there are two authors, John and Bob. So it is a list. It's just making it a horizontal, the vertical, and then we have date, and then we have publisher. We have title, authors, and then date and publisher. We have title, authors, date, publisher. Okay, and yeah, after you have the writing JSON, you can read. Okay, this is the way to show your data. Okay, and yeah, after you have the data, I want to read. How can I read this one? So this is one example how to read the JSON. So I can put the Python file reading JSON. Okay, this is the way to read the JSON data. With open book data.json as a JSON file, first load the file. So the file will be the book data.json. So it will be line by line. And then for P in the data book, okay, so you can see if it is in the book. So all those things are in the book. And I want to print the title and just give the list, okay? Because this is a kind of dictionary. The dictionary in this format, this is dictionary, this is the key, and the key will have a list. And yeah, for every part of the list, yeah, you can just access the key again, and you can print all the things in the console. So if you can run this one, reading JSON, yeah, you can see in the console. Okay, like this one. So this is the result. So what I want to say is both XML and JSON are meta language. Okay. Yeah, basically they are the same. Yeah. XML is a language that you use to create other languages. For example, on the previous slides, we saw how to use XML to create book language consisting of book, title, and so forth. The same with JSON is also a language to create another language. Okay, so you can have also book, and you can use JSON in order to create book, title, author, and so forth. The XML document is a kind of tree. Okay, so you already know that the code in Python expressed as a tree. So book is the root, and then title, author, state, and publishers, they are the tag, and then the element are parsing techniques, author 2007 Springer, and then so you still have the child node, which is Tikrun and Cheryl. For JSON, it is also a tree, okay? And the tree is in another way, but basically it's the same. The other thing is only about the list here. So in the list here, yeah, it's not split it into two different authors, but it is only in one. But the data has been separated by comma in the list. Okay. Trees are well studied, okay, because tree data structure is one of the data structure widely used by the computer scientists. And there are many well-known algorithms for processing and traversing trees. So XML and JSON are able to leverage the trees, okay, and you can use also the trees for the schema. Okay. So XML schema represent the structure of the data. For example, the XML schema is the structure of the data for XML, and JSON schema is also the structure, and it is for the structure for the JSON data. For example, in the schema for book, okay, you may have difficulties to understand all these things. Okay, so let's say this one. You have book. So this is the element book, and then you will show the complex type. Okay, so this is actually this one. And before we do the details, also we need to make sure that it is a sequence. Sequence means after this data, there will be another data. And the element, first element is the title will be in the string. And then there will be another element which is authors. And authors, it consists of another complex item. And it will be a sequence, and the sequence will be author. And the data type is string, and the maximum will be 5. So it means there should be only maximum 5 authors in the author stack. Okay. And we have the date. It will be the year. It is the data format. If you use the SQLite, you have the characters, okay, to express the string, and you have the time now. So you need to use the library in Python to get the year. So this XML schema, they have the data type that you can use directly. Publisher, so minimum occurs 0. It means, yeah, you don't need to enforce all the publisher in your data. And the publisher is a simple type. Let's say there are 3 publishers, only Springer, MIT Press, and Harvard Press. So those kind of options is also available in the XML schema. It is the same with the JSON schema, is equivalent. Yeah. Basically, we just want to define what kind of schema that you're going to use, and the properties, you have book, and the book, it's an object. Okay. After you have the object, you will define the attribute name like the title Okay, so it is based on the properties. The title is string, and authors. Okay, you can see the type is array. Yeah, you can define this kind of schema. Okay, you need the data as an array, and the minimum item is 1, the maximum item is 5, okay, and the type is string. For the date, you can use the string, okay, and the pattern. Oh, this is interesting. This is the regular expression. Okay, I think I won't teach you the regular expression, but just use this one. It means you have 0 until 9, only numbers, and the numbers are 4. Okay, 4 means 4 digits. So 2020, then 4 digits. 1999, so it's 4 digits. Okay, it just represent the year. And then the publishers, you can see there are 3, like Springer, MIT, and HarperPress. So this is the string type. You have another information like required. So if you leave it blank, it will not save the data. So you need to at least fill in the data about title, authors, and date. Additional properties is false, and it requires book. So this book is required. Additional properties is false. So using the JSON schema is a little bit different with the XML, but almost they're the same. So for example, like string here, you can express with the string in XML like this one, title, then the type is access string. And then if you are using array, it represents the complex type. So the complex type maybe is a little bit confusing, but array will be easier for you if you understand computer programming. And then the pattern here, because we are showing the year. So in XML, they already have the data format like year. And then, I didn't mention about the enum. So enum means I want to choose among the option like Springer, MIT Press, and HarperPress. So it is not an array, but it is an enum, because later on, if I want to access this one, I can access with the array format or the integer. The same with the XML, it's used like the restriction. So there can be the options in a string, but those 3 are only the alternatives. Okay. Bootstrap the schema language, so it means the XML schema is written in XML and JSON schema is written in JSON. Yep, like this one, it is the XML to JSON. Okay, I don't want to teach you how to use this way to convert, but you can use this freeformatter.com. This is the online tools. So you have the JSON format. Oh yeah, I have the XML format. Oops. Here I want to XML formatter. So, oops, this is. Oh, why is different? This one, XML to JSON. Okay, so you can just have your XML and then convert XML to JSON. Yep, you can see this one is the format of the JSON. I have ID, title, author, and publisher. So this is the way Yeah, you can see book ID. Okay, ID is something unique. Okay? And then how can you convert it into JSON? So JSON will automatically create ID. So there will be a symbol at to indicate that this is the ID. And then the other things are the same with the previous example. Okay, I guess I will stop here. So I will continue with the other video about the Django REST framework. Thank you for your attention.